Ladies and gentlemen, fight fans all around the world, let's talk some boxing. So I did this video talking about Pacquiao possibly facing Terrence Crawford or facing Jeff Horn or facing Ricky Burns, right? The possibility of that, and I did a pretty exhaustive video on that. And one of you, my subscribers here, sp123, you asked me in your request here to make a video on Soulja Boy versus Chris Brown. You said it doesn't matter whether you cover game plans or the business side of the fight. Okay, now let me make this disclaimer before I continue. I'm not really interested in this fight. I'll be honest with you. I'm not interested in it. To me, it's not real boxing, but it does have merits in it, so I'm going to go into it and address your question, Soulja Boy. Thank you again. Shout out to Soulja Boy. I'm sorry. Shout out to sp123. I called you Soulja Boy. I'm sorry about that. Shout out to you for the question, and also shout out to you for checking out my channel and my video. Now, I'm not even going to talk about the business side. I'm not even going to talk about the matchup. This is the interesting thing that this fight could promote, and what makes it very interesting. Chris Brown has a following, Soulja Boy has a following, and the interesting thing is, at least on social media and, or outside of social media, these two have a feud going on. Now, instead of going and gangbanging and clashing with one another and doing a Tupac versus Biggie Smalls kind of nonsense, instead of having that, the resolution to the problem is go back to them street fights and sort it out as men. But street fights in a gym, I think that's actually cool, because for a certain demographic of people who carry guns and stuff and gang violence, we don't want to see that. So this is actually a plus side, and it could become, depending on how Chris Brown versus Soulja Boy's fight end up being, it could become something of a popular fad for boxing as well. Okay, so it depends. Now, for me, it's not professional boxers facing one another. It's not even amateur boxers facing one another. It's just two very popular guys who either know boxing a little bit or they are training to face one another. And remember in the playground, or if you were in school, you go out and meet each other in the yard, in the back of the yard, and fight things out. Disputes really can be settled man to man, especially with two guys with testosterone and all of that, by fighting it out with one another on a level playing field. And that's what this kind of symbolizes. And in a way, it does appeal to a fair way for two men to resolve their disputes. Men tend to be very violent anyway. So this could be something that can be actually an alternative solution to certain problems where we have a lot of gang violence, and even in my country, a lot of gang violence in my country where people are putting out hits on other people, when if they could come face to face, mano a mano, and take down one another or beat up one another, there's a certain honor and value in it, and a certain degree of respect you earn by being a man facing another man, taking him on. You get your ass whooped, so be it. You don't get your ass whooped, or y'all fight for long hours, somebody gonna get burned out, or both of y'all might get burned out. And that's how you can squash a beef, because in that case, at least hopefully somebody comes out of that alive. Both of you come out alive from that experience, and you have a deeper respect for each other. In The Matrix, it said, I can't remember what the guy's name was. He said, "You do not really truly know someone until you fight them." And in a way, I see how this can appeal to that. So, if it becomes kind of like a fad where people, to resolve their disputes, they go into a boxing gym, they go into the ring. Now, you can resolve disputes in a street fight in many different ways, right? You can just form a ring in the street and set down your rules or no rules and just go at it, right? In this case, these two are choosing to use boxing, and they're choosing to pick a gym and just go in there and just do it. And I think if gyms could be like that, they could be this haven for people to settle disputes sometimes. The average Joe, you get vexed with another guy, instead of going out into the back and just having a street fight, you just, both of you just put up the dukes, mano a mano, and just go at it. You know what I'm saying? And you got somebody kind of like a ref, you set how many rounds you want to do, and you just go at it. You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna burn out all that energy, and all that animosity and hate for one another is gonna burn out in a couple of minutes. I mean, not even a couple of minutes, a couple of seconds. That's all gonna burn out, because it's a serious workout to box another person. Now, if the street fight is no rules barred, then that could be actually much more violent. And the other thing with the street fight is you got bare knuckle fights, and then you got the ones where you have on gloves. If you glove up, you can still punch the dude, and more likely you would do less damage to him than if you were just bare knuckle, especially if you're a heavy puncher. So I'm saying one of the best ways to do it is in a boxing ring. You know, or you form a boxing ring, you get somebody with boxing gloves, or you walk with your boxing gloves, whatever, or you prepare for it, lace them up and do it, duke it out. And whether it's in the streets or whether it's in the ring, it doesn't really matter. I like boxing because boxing affords less casualty, and it's a grueling sport. It's a sport where, if you're fighting somebody, you could run out of steam within the first 30 seconds. You know what I'm saying? And then it's just, you got to really work that marathon from there on in. Depends on your conditioning. And you got to kind of have to know what you're doing in there. So I like boxing for that respect. I know they're better at martial arts. I know there's things which are quicker and all of that. I know. But in terms of boxing, I think boxing kept communities in order. You know, you had the dude who, you know, he was the king of the streets. And the king of the streets, not because he was wielding a gun or knives or something. No, he did it by honor and merit. He used to whoop ass. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, to take it back there would be awesome. Especially for certain communities where there's a lot of violence, a lot of gun violence, a lot of gunplay. You know, the heads of the communities to come and just fight one another and shake hands on that and just call it a day. In a way, that is less cowardly, because yeah, you might ambush the dude in the boxing ring, but it don't lead to death. It don't lead to life going. You know what I'm saying? And it's still kind of fair playing field because both people are watching on either side. I mean, it's still gonna be cruel, and you know people are cruel, but I'm saying that it's the best way to do it. And if you need a rematch, you do a rematch. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the potential between these two guys fighting one another. I think it's a manly thing to do. I think instead of just trash talking one another on social media or wherever, and not being able to actually meet and talk with one another because you know you got beef and it escalates to something else that you don't really want it to be, where bodies are falling. Instead of that, why not just face one another? Face one another and get it all out there. You know what I'm saying? Get it all out. You know, have some respect at the end of the day. You know, if you don't have the respect, do it again. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm telling you, you're going to have respect for your opponent at the end of the day, whether you whoop their ass or not. Especially if they made it difficult for you. Oh, you're going to have a lot of respect for them. Okay? And stuff will be squashed because, you know, boxing is very, very demanding. You know, so I thought that I would make this video because sp123 wanted me to. So I did this video because of your request, sp123. If you guys have other video requests, you know what to do. Just bring it in and I'll try and do that video for you. But at the end of the day, I'm not really interested in this fight, okay? That's me, because I'm more into boxing. But I can see the potential for it to be something that really could help a lot of lives and influence a lot of people. So that's why I'm really interested in it. And also the other thing I like about it is that these are two celebrities who are actually doing the honorable thing by settling their dispute by, if it's going to come to blows, we're going to control how those blows going to happen. We're not going to shoot up each other. We're not going to ambush each other and beat each other up. No. We're going to settle it like men. So I really do want to, and this is why I said, even though boxing is a violent sport, that there's something honorable about having an even playing field for two people to duke it out. I remember once I had an issue with another guy. He kept on, so we, you know, and this was in elementary school, and I duked it out with the other guy while two other guys was watching. One guy for his person and one guy for me. and we duked it out, we scrapped it out, and that was it. Everything was squashed after that, because I was damn tired, he was damn tired. You know what I'm saying? We duked it out, and that's the best way for people to get respect from one another, and then that's it. You have nothing else to prove. No, he ain't got nothing else to prove. We go all different ways with respect. So I kind of like that. I like that aspect of boxing. I know it's a violent sport and all of that, but at the end of the day, that makes sense. It's a way to settle disputes in a controlled, violent way. You know what I'm saying? Because of the rules and stuff, you know, if you come ready and the other guy comes ready, ain't nobody gonna get, you know, if anybody gets knocked out, well, cool, but ain't nobody necessarily gonna die as a result of that. You know, in other street fights, people could die, they can get really badly injured, you know, it could get really nasty, and I'm not really cool with those aspects of it. This is more controlled, so I'm just saying, you know, and it builds character. It really does. You guys have a great one.